Tuesday, I sat down with Republican Danny Lopez for a reaction. All right, Danny, so wrap up on election night. I would assume Republicans here in the state weren't too pleased with the way things went.
Oh, I disagree. I thought it was a great night for Republicans. When you look at the gains that were made, when we woke up Wednesday morning, we have more Republican mayors in the state than we've ever had, which was tremendous. We had a number of minority candidates that ran and won. So thinking about Ronald Morrill and Marion, thinking about Tiffany Ditlipson, Cecilia Coble and Fishers, that were tremendous gains as well. We closed the gap in Indianapolis and in some places. If you think about where I'm at in Hamilton County, I think it was anticipated that those would be close races. Actually, it was nearly a clean sweep in Hamilton County. So I think there's a lot to be proud of. And frankly, I'd say that the reports, contrary to sort of where the Democrats want to try to spin this, the reports of the Democrat comeback is overstated for sure.
Why is that? Why do you think that?
Well, because I think when you look at the gains that have been made, it's tremendous. Again, in Hamilton County, we ran on record. Every Democrat candidate in Hamilton County tried to distract. They tried to distract from Republican records of 20 plus years of Republicans running Hamilton County and turning it into one of the best places in the country, not just in the state, but in the country to live and play. And it didn't work. It backfired. It didn't work because Republicans ran substantive candidates who put forward a vision, and voters understand the record, just like they understand the record across the state. So when you have more Republican mayors today than you had yesterday or Tuesday morning, it's a sign to me that voters are pretty happy with the Republican direction.
Democrats don't point to some of the bigger ones: Indianapolis, Evansville, Terre Haute.
Yeah,
Your response to that?
So certainly some of these, each of these races is nuanced, right? So Evansville, you had a third-party candidate that ran after a very heated primary that sort of distorted that race. Indianapolis, the truth is, in Indianapolis, we closed the gap from where we were in 2019. We picked up a council seat, which was significant, and we ran a bunch of and recruited a bunch of young, dynamic, energetic candidates that are going to be around for the long haul. So actually, as a party in Indianapolis, we made tremendous gains. And then again, I point to a place like Hamilton County where you ran the table, right? The truth is that Democrats in Hamilton County have been talking about Hamilton County across the state actually as a place where they're going to stake their comeback. Well, if you woke up on Wednesday morning and you're a Democrat candidate, there's no way you can be happy with those results, and there's no way that you can think that Democrat talking points are resonating with Hamilton County voters.
And several of the Democrats that I've spoken with agree with you on that, actually. They were very disappointed, specifically about Carmel.
Sure.
Neck of the woods.
It's not resonating. So the truth is that voters are smart. Voters in Indiana are smart, and they look at the record, and they look at the record statewide. When we think about where we were as a state 20 years ago before Mitch came into office, and we think about where we are now that Governor Holcomb is rounding out his second term, we were unable to pave roads. We were unable to fund pensions. We now are making record investments in education, record investments in infrastructure, record CapEx, record growth, plus a surplus. We're doing record mental health investments. We're doing incredible things that other states are not able to do. That is a Republican record. It's a Republican record in 206 in the governor's office, and it's a Republican record in the legislature. That's not something Democrats can run on in this state, and they're finding it very hard to get any traction.
What do you think happened here in Indianapolis and Marion County?
Well, I mean, you always knew it was going to be an uphill battle, but again, I would point to places where Democrats did, underperformed or Republicans overperformed and ran candidates that won. It is not easy to win seats here as a Republican in Indianapolis, but when you think about picking up a seat and again finding young, dynamic, hungry candidates that can be around for the long haul, and the infrastructure that Commissioner Joe Elsner, the county chairman, has built here in Marion County, I think it's a great thing for the future.
Nationally, specifically when you look at states like Kentucky and Ohio and what happened there, what does that tell you, and what is your take on those races?
Yeah, so I'm always careful to draw parallels between, certainly in an off year in a state like Ohio or Kentucky or whatever to a presidential year election in 2024 in Indiana, where the turnout will be much higher than what it was this year. The truth is that here again, you're going to find, but we see the playbook, you're going to find the Democrats next year are going to talk about issues that have been litigated and try to nationalize these elections for 2024. And the reality is that Republicans are going to continue to point to their record. The record of success for the last 20 years that really turned the state around and turned it from a flyover to one of the great states in the country, one of the most strong states in the country. that Republican leadership of education investment and teacher pay and mental health and economic growth and talent attraction. We're the only state in the Midwest that's growing population. There's a reason for that. And the reason for that is Republican policies that have been put in place, sensible Republican policies that have been put in place for the last 20 years, have put this state on a trajectory that is really unmatched.
I have about 30 seconds left. I know you're running for office as well. How's that going?
It's going great. We're out connecting, talking about things that people care about. We're going to do it, Phil, in a way that is civil, in a way that is positive and optimistic. And we're going to cast, like Republicans did in Hamilton County on Tuesday, cast a hopeful, optimistic, positive message for voters, and I think it's going to resonate.
Danny Lopez, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, coming up in the end.